Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Villains. On the Rebirth server, we are with Nightmare Lass, our level 36 Mastermind, who has 4.25 million XP. About a half a million to go to get to level 37 and her next 3 enhancement slots. And we are going to do a mission for Bassi Croupier. Trying to see if he has another story arc for me. We're going to try 2 missions from him. If he doesn't give me story arcs, then I'm going to stop recording for a while and do some more of the newspaper missions until we can get some cred built up with our broker Isabel the Knight. Someone had mentioned, I think it was KFR, of course, probably KFR because he's the only one who comments, looking through the contacts that we don't know yet. The ones we don't know are all in Pretoria. I hate Pretoria, so I'm not going to talk to them. Because not only don't I like the missions, but one of the problems with a lot of the newer missions is they put you on a story arc even if you don't want to go on it. I did manage to complete the mission for our Midnighter contact, what's her name? It was a single mission story arc to just talk to the guy in Cimarora. I actually just auto-completed it, guys, because I don't care about going to learn the Cimarora tutorial. So anyway, Bassi says, something real has happened, man. I know it ain't your thing, but I can offer you a contract to get it fixed. See, you know those freak show types? They're totally crazy, man. Yeah, we know that. But they all had to come from somewhere, and that's where the problems come from. See, one of those freaks, his mama, Miss Vashers, is one of the our big spenders. So when he's out here and is like more metal than dude, and she's out here living it up, and he sees her, and well, it's like one of those bad family arguments you see on TV. Only he's like 500 pounds of metal right now, right? Now Johnny likes us to take care of the people who do well by us here at the Giza. So get her back and remind her freak son, not to ruin his mama's night out. So this is sort of like a hero mission, right? Where he's basically saying, go save somebody and teach the bad guys a lesson. The other bad guys a lesson, I guess. And we're almost halfway through 36th level. So if we don't find a story arc here with him, and we can see, are we on one? We are not. So after we finish with him, next time we talk to him, next mission he gives us, if it doesn't give us a story arc, we're going to stop recording. I will stop recording, and then I will bring you back when I'm on another story arc after I do some newspaper missions. And that wasn't what I meant to do. Okay, so let's summon our guys. And we're gonna go see if we can rescue Ms. Vashers. That name sounds so familiar to me. I wonder if it's part of the lore somewhere else? I don't know, Vashers sounds familiar. Alright guys, in we go. So as you may know, if you've been watching the other playlist, I am doing another series on Planet Zoo, and sometimes I'm sure it looks like I am doing more Planet Zoo than City of Heroes. That's actually not the case. It's just that I have been recording all of my stuff with Planet Zoo, whereas as you heard me introduce this episode, I'm not necessarily recording every single thing this character does here in City of Heroes. Villains, I guess, City Villains, mainly because I don't think it's necessary to show generic missions unless we're doing a story arc. And I don't know that it's necessary to see every single bit of 36th level, say, because one mission is very similar to the next at 36th level, and our character isn't gaining a whole lot of new abilities as we level up anymore. In the lower levels, the levels go by very quickly, and every even level you gain a new power, a new ability, so I figure it's worth seeing how those change the character. But now we're only going to be getting a new power every 3 levels, and most of these are not going to be powers that dramatically change how the power works. They might be. We do have our level 38 power Painbringer still coming up, but in reality, most of what's coming now is going to be things like increasing our generic abilities, maybe increasing our pool powers, and then what we're mostly going to be doing is slots to make our character more effective. And although that can be interesting on a level-to-level basis, where are you? On a level-to-level basis, it's not, you don't notice major changes just from me adding a couple of slots to powers, right? It might make a power recharge more quickly. It might make the power put somebody down in 2 hits instead of 3 hits or something like that. But it might make the power hit more frequently, but it's not going to dramatically change the powers to just add a couple of slots. And so I don't really think it's necessary to keep doing every single bit of every single episode. And I did not do that for Tiger Strike. I did that more so for Silver Phoenix because it was my first character. It was my favorite archetype and power set combo, Martial Arts Super Reflex. And so I wanted to show pretty much all of what I did with that character. But for this character, I don't feel like that's necessary. We've seen most of what there is to see in City of Heroes now, except for how this character plays differently from, say, a Scrapper or a Stalker. And so what I'm trying to do is sort of bias the recordings, the playthroughs that I'm doing in favor of showing you stuff you haven't seen before, at least on this channel, rather than repeating what we've already done. At least that's what I'm attempting to do. And by the way, in Planet Zoo, if you've watched that, you would notice there too, I don't I was going to teleport these guys, but that's fine. I don't, like when I'm building a habitat and trying to design it and working it out, I oftentimes pause the video so that you don't have to watch all of that futzing that I'm doing, and hopefully it's more interesting to just see the actual interactions with the animals and how I'm working out each different part of the scenario. And I think similarly with Planet Zoo, I mean, the career mode is different scenarios, and you get them to bronze, silver, gold star. And I think that for career mode, it's worth showing all of that. Each star level requires you to do different things, and I think for career mode, it's worth seeing that. But if I ever get around to filming franchise mode, where you're just basically building sort of a sandbox park, but on a budget, I don't think I'm going to show every bit of that either, because again, how much do you need to see of me, decorating the keepers' huts? Unless people say in the comments that they want to see that, I'm going to, much like cutting out some of the generic missions here, I will be cutting out generic building and management and that sort of thing in franchise mode of Planet Zoo. It's just that doesn't seem reasonable to do that in career mode, since those scenarios are fairly short, at least so far. Let's check and see if there's anybody in here. There is not. But I hear dialogue, or I see dialogue. And there's the big bad. Come down. Come down. Oh, I went too close. Curly, hell on earth. And let's do our... Yeah, I went too close to them. Go get him. Where are you guys going? Alright, come up here. Let's get everybody in line, and then fight. Oh wow, there are 2 tankers? Okay. We need all of our buffs here. Alright, let's take one at a time. This is gonna be rough. I didn't realize there were 2 freak tanks, and they're probably both gonna res. So that's interesting. Is this just a miss spawn? Or is it intentional double boss? I don't know. Excellent. So we trapped one. Make sure I've got a break free going here. Give Corelli 2 hit. Alright, now let's go for TV Vashers. And watch out for this guy respawning. Waking up. This is not too bad. And the other freak did not wake up. And now the second freak, Vashers, is trapped. Good job. Excellent, guys. Even though I screwed up, we managed to beat him. Let's see if he respawns. Regens. Doesn't look like it. So now we gotta go get Big Mama. Mrs. Vashers. So somehow the boss must have been supposed to be here. And so now there's an ambush coming, so we're going to move our minions forward. And go get them. Well, maybe that was an ambush that spawned in the wrong place? Probably not. They don't usually put bosses in ambushes, but maybe. You can see where that one of those two spawns was supposed to be there with her. Either the TV spawn or the other boss. And either they didn't spawn in the right place or they were programmed to ambush. I'm not really sure what happened. Alright, so let's get her to... Who is this? Oh, there's somebody who's rezzed. There we go. And now we're going to go down the elevator, and we should be able to get her out pretty easily. There will be more ambushes. You can see them coming. Right there. But I don't know if he's going to be able to find us. We'll see. Is she coming? Here she is. Okay. They're above us, so my guess is they're kind of screwed. I don't know if they're going to be able to find us in time. Oh, here's an ambush. Lost the mouse there. Okay. So we just need to go down. She's following me pretty well. Or was. Where is she now? Where is she? There she is. I'm gonna have them attack, and she should be able to follow me here. Come on. Let's get you over here while they're fighting the bad guys. And there we go. Mission complete. Okay, out we go, and now we take a look at what our contact has to say. And he says, Vashers is back at the tables and spending money like water Me, I'd be pretty broken up if things got like that with my kid, man. I guess some people don't let nothing get to them. Alright, guys, it looks like he's not going to give us a story arc, so we'll do this mission. And then maybe we'll do a newspaper mission if it's pretty quick. No, probably not. We'll do this mission. And then I'll start doing newspaper missions off screen. If I can time it right, I might get another story arc just as I'm about to hit 37, and that's when I'll bring you back. But let's do one more mission. Some people never get a clue, man. See, when I started working for Mr. Sonata, I learned something important. That is, if you want to be big time, you got to think big time. So say if you want to make yourself some money here in St. Marshall, what you have to do is pay your dues and set up a nice casino like the Giza, or the Lucky Six. But some people just don't think big time. So there are these guys, they're called Sioux. Names supposed to mean the destroyers or something. Real tough guys. Maybe you've run into these cats. Yes, we have. Well, they're still thinking small time. They're trying to set up a little protection racket and started to threaten the guys who run the Lucky Six, so they called me, and I told Johnny, and Mr. Sonata, he got mad. Then he said he wanted it stopped. When he asked about you, then he asked about you. So, well, it's in everybody's interest to go and break up that little protection racket. So now we're going to defeat the Sioux racketeers. And let's see if we can rearrange this here. Here we go. And red over there. So I'm going to use these yellows quickly because we don't need them all. And I'm going to get rid of the endurance because we don't need that at all. Endurance management has been pretty decent on this character. Man, look at this. Look how cool that looks. With like the neon, the sort of, like, obviously it's not real neon, but it is like neon signs. They made it look like a real casino strip. Hey, look, there's some villains over here fighting something. They're fighting an elite boss. Cool. Alright, here we go. Summoning our kids. Demons. Minions of Nightmare Lass. Oh, and by the way, I noticed it when I wasn't recording, so I don't have a screenshot of it or anything, but there are a couple of billboards in, I think it's Port Oaks, where it actually is like a billboard for like Minion School. Here, learn to, like, a Minion job agency. Here, become a Minion. It pays well, and there's a chance for promotion. It's really cool. There are lots of little touches like that throughout both the Rogue Isles and Paragon City. I've said this before, but I never get tired of saying it because they're worthy of the compliment. The people who designed the zones, the people who built the maps, had such an eye for detail. I don't know if it was Warwitch. She might have been one of the designers. Who's also fairly active on the original forums and was a super nice person. Tie him up. Bind him. Ice. Come on. Hit him with ice. Let's go, Curly. That slows him down. There we go. And they're kicking my little one's butts. So we'll have to summon more, but let's finish this guy first. Come on. There he goes. And now we finish the Inkman, and I'll summon my little ones. What are you doing? Oh, he must have drained so much that's why he sped around so fast. But I thought it was one of my minions who went running around like that, and I was like, what are you doing? So there, it looks like we've got a hostage. And And there's another hostage. Alright, go get him. Yeah, so there was a huge eye for detail in designing these maps. If you look at, you know, just the little soda bottles and wine and, you know, chicken fingers and stuff on the table, and you've got this on the bar, and you've got the draft thing here. You've got all the little slot machines. You've got the poker tables, and you can actually read all the numbers and count the chips if you want. And you've got, well, that's like not poker, that's craps, and then this is, I guess, poker over here. I think they have roulette as well in here. Blackjack over here, right? And you can see, like, if you zoom in, you can see what the hands are and stuff. It's really cool. I mean, they did an amazing job on the detail in this game. The seats look like they're made of some kind of velvet or something shiny like that, right? Some sort of cheesy red velvet seats that are meant to, like, look fancy but are actually just kind of garish. And it just did such a really nice job. Here's roulette, right? You can even see, if we zoom in, you know, like the numbers. It's a little bit mappy, but you can see the numbers and what people are betting on and stuff. It's just really well done. I absolutely love the detail. You can zoom in here and see what each slot machine is coming up. This is like 2 and 1 here. You can see if any of them are jackpots. I mean, it's just really well done. This looks like a real casino. It's very nice. So I think that, and that minion sign is another great example. They just do such a nice job with all the design and the detail in all the areas. They had really good zone and area designers. The people who did, like, the dressing, we used to call it the dungeon dressing, where you would you would, like, dress the dungeon with details when you're a dungeon master, so that you had, like, you know, bookcases and chests and key rings and scrolls and, you know, scraps of paper on the desk and stuff like that. That was done incredibly well in almost every single map in City of Heroes. So they had some really nice, I guess what you call level designers, and they did a beautiful job with all the different maps in this game. They really did a nice job. I mean, here you come over here and you can see that this is sort of like a dock, sort of coal shipping area, and it looks kind of grungy, and we got warehouses, and oh, it's just all done really well. I'd just say one of the best things about this game is its design. Such attention to detail. Right, even little things like the animations for summoning each demon. They could have just made one and just replicated it, but instead they gave each type of demon a different animation for both coming and going, for both being summoned and desummoned. And it's those little touches that City of Heroes did that made it such a good game. That attention to detail. Again, in the offices, bulletin boards with notices, and if you zoom in, you can actually read it for sale, right, and stuff like that. Very well done. Got magazines on the table here. You've got a TV. You've got a camera that's spinning because it's a security camera. You have an air conditioner in the window. Paintings on the walls, the water cooler, the vending machine. Just what a beautiful job they did on the design. Here's the restroom, right? Men's and ladies with a water fountain. And, you know, they paid attention to the fact that the fire extinguisher is often placed by the restrooms. Then this is the janitor's closet. So, like, they just had such great detail all throughout these maps. And I have to say, I really do like that. Alright, so we have to, I guess, find 4 safes. The question is, are we on an arc or is this a mini arc? This looks like a mini arc. So that's not too bad. We're already, gosh, we already got like almost a bead today. Goodness. Let's go ahead and let him use some of that so that we can get a new inspiration that might be better. Let mine get some of that too. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. I'm trying to collect up the inspirations that I find more useful. Alright, let's summon. Yeah, so one of the problems for the Inkmen, one of the issues that these Inkmen have in combat, and that makes them actually less effective than if these abilities were in a character, like a player character, is that they spend a lot of actions, a lot of their abilities in combat that take some time to do, debuffing you and buffing themselves, making themselves faster, but it's not doing any damage to the pets. So it's like, yeah, you make yourself really faster just as you die. And so that actually is not efficient. It's sort of like in Dungeons and Dragons. One of the rules of thumb is if you have like a boss monster, it's probably only going to live 3 to 4 rounds. So you don't want to give it some ability that it takes 3 or 4 rounds for that ability to build up. Right, like suppose you have some sort of a draining ability where you can drain like one thing from each character for 4 straight rounds, and then on the 5th round you could like take the energy and blow it back at them. That'd be almost useless for an NPC to have, because by the time he uses those 4 abilities, he's going to be dead. And it's the same thing here. These blue Inkmen waste a lot of their actions during the combat on trying to slow you down and speed themselves up, and it might work okay against a single character, but against a minion, and I screwed that up, I didn't notice the sorcerer, against a set of minions like my guys, you're only slowing a couple of them down and the rest of them are going to kill you. And by the time the weight of that, the difference there of the speed, and now our guys are just going to keep getting knocked back because I messed up. By the time the weight of that speed that you have, the speed advantage you have over your enemies actually does anything to you, right, to really make it have an advantage, you're already dead. Right, and so I'm not sure how effective it is to give the blue Sue Inkmen this like kinetic ability that lets them drain your speed. If it drained your hit points and gave them speed, it would be totally useful, because then it's doing damage to you, but instead it drains your speed and gives them speed, right? And that is not super effective for the NPCs, because they're just not going to live that long, right? And by the time it actually, oh no, stop, leave them alone, don't go up there. By the time it actually makes them faster enough that it's going to be good for them, they're already dead. So that's sort of bad NPC design, I guess. Is this guy dead, or what happened up there? Oh, there he is. Okay, now we can kill him. Yeah, now these guys are a pain if they turned on the hurricane until we can ice them up. That's a far more effective thing to do, even though it's not doing a lot of damage. It is preventing the incoming damage. But even there, and one of the things that makes Scrappers, for instance, so effective as characters, and eventually made them, I think, the most popular archetype. I'm pretty sure I saw some stats in live that by the end of live, the total number of characters gotten to level 50, the Scrappers were number 1. And I think the reason is that to win a fight, you have to do damage. right? So if you're just, and that's one of the things that always made controllers horrible to play, because you could lock everybody down for an hour, but how are you going to do damage to them? You don't have any real good damaging abilities. And so you could buff the heck out of yourself, you could debuff the heck out of them and hold them, but if you can't do damage, like, how are you going to fight? It takes forever, or you can't win at all, right? And some of back during live, controllers couldn't beat bosses, because the bosses were mostly immune to the controller's ability, and they couldn't do enough damage. Even with a regular boss, they couldn't do enough damage to overcome the boss's regeneration, let alone something like an elite boss or an arch-villain. And so, I mean, realistically, what you have to do is do more damage than they do. And if you're not doing any damage because you're buffing yourself, like this guy just did, right? Look how oh good, he's running super fast. Well, that's great, but it's not doing any damage to my minions. And then as soon as he stops, they just kill him because he hasn't done any damage to the minions, right? Whereas anybody who knows anything about RPG tactics knows, like what I do with my minions, I focus fire the enemy down, and we're doing damage. And you do damage to one enemy at a time, and you take them out. And that's what scrappers can do, right? You take one enemy and you just focus fire him down by doing your attacks over and over again to that boss or that lieutenant, and you take him down, and then you take the next guy down and the next guy down. And that's why scrappers are so effective, and stalkers, because they're doing massive amounts of damage, and it's damage that wins battles. Now that doesn't mean that all that matters is DPS. I've often railed against that, but you still have to be able to do damage. And it's often ineffective to be spending your actions doing buffing of yourself and debuffing of the enemy when you're not doing any damage. Now, obviously, in a group, that's different, right? If these guys were speeding their whole group up with the debuff and the rest of the group were damage dealers, that would be different. But instead, they put a bunch of buff or debuffers together, and there are no damage dealers in their group, so they're all just debuffing. Come on, why is this not going? Alright. And there's another safe. So there are 2 to go. Let's see if we can get this sorcerer up here. Nope, I just missed the sorcerer every time. Alright guys, go get him. Alright, well he's frozen, so that's good. And so in any case, the confirmation of what I'm saying should be in the fact that these blue ink men are completely and totally ineffective against my minions. They do nothing to us. The only thing they could possibly do, potentially, is by speeding up so much, then zoom off and pull my guys into another spawn before I can stop them. But given that the other spawn is just more blue ink men, even that's not really that much of a danger. Alright, go get the boss, guys. I'm worthless, eh? Can't even do anything, buddy. You're on the ground, you're slowed, you're getting smacked around. And notice, especially against my guys, all that kinetic speed is doing him no good, the Ink Man, because he's being slowed back down by the ice. So I'll let my guys take care of that while I open the safe. That's what minions are for. And I missed one back further up. Did somebody run away? Get him? Alright, now come with me, guys. We gotta go get the other safe. And there is another guy I missed. Too busy talking. Not watching what I was doing. Oh, this is one of these where the safe is all the way in the back, right? So we got that one, and now we just need to defeat these last two guys. Come over here, guys. And look at the little flamey guys, they're so cute. There's 5 of them now. They're in the back. Go get them. Look at him, he's wasting his time fighting the little flamey guys who are utterly irrelevant. Because it's the demons that actually matter. And that is the mission. You guys can go to sleep, and I will head out. Now let's talk to our contact. Bassie, I guess. Basie. But Sue, man, I just don't get it. Some people got to do everything the hard way. Okay, so we're not going to do any more missions for him because he's pretty clearly not going to give me any more story arcs. I will do newspaper missions off screen, and when I bring you back, we'll be ready for the next story arc, and probably will be level 37. Until next time, I am Scrubberlock, and this has been City of Villains.